Okay. Hello, this is Hosonia again, coming from the HalleluYah Scriptures. HalleluYah Scriptures. We are in Wayakra or Leviticus, chapter 11. And we're going to start with a word of prayer, and then we'll get right into it. Heavenly Father, thank you for this second recording of the chapters on Leviticus, but my determination to, no matter the mishap, to move forward with what I've decided to do. Father, thank you for waking me up this morning. Thank you for placing in my heart the desire to really, really get to know you. By delving into your word and just seeing for myself. Father, please grace me with your understanding, with your wisdom, with your knowledge, not, Father, in an egotistical or a tyrannical way or in an uplifted way, but, Father, in a humble way, in a meek way, and in a way of the daughter of Zion, just trying to understand her Father and what it is that He said for us in these days. I'm trying to understand the signs and the things that I see. Father, help me to put together what I see over here, what I see over there, and bring it together so that I understand. Father, bless the channel. Bless those that come into the channel. Father, hedge the channel in your protection. Shield it, Father. Father, I ask forgiveness of my sins, known and unknown. Father, I ask you to help me close doors that I have opened unknowingly. Father, I ask your forgiveness, and I repent, Father, for any wickedness, any selfishness, any ignorance. Father, I just ask you to open heaven's doors, Father, and just send down blessings, like I said, on the channel, Father. These are all things I ask in your name, Father, and in your Son's name. So be it. Amen. So, HalleluYah. Okay, so chapter 11. Sorry. As Yah spoke to Moshe and Aharon, saying to them, speak to the children of Yisrael, saying, these are the living creatures which you do eat among all the beasts that are on the earth. Whatever has a split hoof, completely divided, chewing the cud among the beasts that you do eat. Only these you do not eat among those that chew the cud, or those that have a split hoof. The camel, because it chews the cud, but does not have a split hoof, it is unclean to you. And the rabbit, because it chews the cud, but does not have a split hoof, it is unclean to you. And the hare, because it chews the cud, but does not have a split hoof, it is unclean to you. And the pig, though it has a split hoof, completely divided, yet does not chew the cud, it is unclean to you. Their flesh you do not eat, and their carcasses you do not touch. They are unclean to you. These you do eat of all that are in the waters. Anyone that has fins and scales in the waters and in the seas or in the rivers, that you do eat. But all that have not fins and scales in the seas and in the rivers, all that move in the waters, or any living creature which is in the waters, they are an abomination to you. They are an abomination to you. Of their flesh you do not eat, and their carcasses you abominate. All that have not fins or scales in the waters is an abomination to you. And these you do abominate among the birds. They are not eaten. They are an abomination. The eagle and the vulture and the black vulture, and the hawk and the falcon after its kind, every raven after its kind, and the ostrich and the nighthawk, and the seagull and the hawk after its kind, and the little owl, and the fisher owl, and the gray owl, and the white owl, and the pelican, and the carrion vulture, and the stork, and the heron after its kind, and the hopi, and the bat. All flying insects that creep on all fours is an abomination to you. Only these you do eat of every flying insect that creeps on all fours. Those which have jointed legs above their feet, with which to leap on the earth. These of them you do eat. The locust after its kind, and the destroying locust after its kind, and the cricket after its kind, and the grasshopper after its kind. But all other flying insects which have 4 feet is an abomination to you, and by these you are made unclean. Anyone touching the carcass of any of them is unclean until evening. And anyone picking up part of the carcass of any of them has to wash his garments, and shall be unclean until evening. Every beast that has a split hoof not completely divided, or does not chew the cud, is unclean to you. Anyone who touches their carcass is unclean, and whatever goes on its paws, among all the creatures that go on all fours, those are unclean to you. Anyone who touches their carcass is unclean until evening. And he who picks up their carcass has to wash his garments, and shall be unclean until evening. They are unclean to you, and these are unclean to you among the creeping creatures that creep on the earth: the mole, and the mouse, and the tortoise after its kind, and the gecko, and the land crocodile, and the sand reptile, and the sand lizard, and the chameleon. These are unclean to you among all that creep. Anyone who touches them when they are dead becomes unclean until evening. And whatever any of them in its dead state falls upon becomes unclean, whether it is any wooden object, or garment, or skin, or sack, any object in which work is done. It is put in water, and it shall be unclean until evening. Then it shall be clean. Any earthen vessel into which any of them falls, whatever is in it becomes unclean, and you break it. Any of the food which might be eaten, on which water comes, becomes unclean, and any drink which might be drunk from it becomes unclean. And on whatever their carcass falls becomes unclean. An oven or cooking range, it is broken down. They are unclean, and are unclean to you. But a fountain or a well, a collection of water, is clean. But whatever touches their carcasses is unclean. And when their carcass falls on any planting seed, which is to be sown, it is clean. But when any water is put on the seed, and any part of any such carcass falls on it, it is unclean to you. And when any of the beasts which are yours for food dies, he who touches its carcass becomes unclean until evening. And he who eats of its carcass has to wash his garments, and shall be unclean until evening. And he who picks up its carcass has to wash his garments, and shall be unclean until evening. And every creeping creature that creeps on the earth is an abomination. It is not eaten. Whatever crawls on its stomach, and whatever goes on all fours, and whatever has many feet among all creeping creatures that creep on the earth, these you do not eat, for they are an abomination. Do not make yourselves abominable with any creeping creature that creeps, and do not make yourselves unclean with them, lest you be defiled by them. For I am Yah, your Elohim, and you shall kadosh yourselves, and you shall be kadosh, for I am kadosh. And do not defile yourselves with any creeping creature that creeps on the earth. For I am Yah, who is bringing you up out of the land of Mitzrayim to be your Elohim, and you shall be kadosh, for I am kadosh. This is the Torah of the beasts and the birds, and every living creature that moves in the waters, and of every creature that creeps on the earth, to make a distinction between the unclean and the clean, and between the living creature and the and that is eaten, and the living creature that is not eaten. Chapter 12. And Yah spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, saying, When a woman has conceived and has given birth to a male child, then she shall be unclean 7 days, as in the days of her monthly separation she is unclean. And on the 8th day the flesh of his foreskin is circumcised, and she remains in the blood of her cleansing 33 days. She does not touch whatever is Kodesh, and she does not come into the Midash until the days of her cleansing are completed. But if she gives birth to a female child, then she shall be unclean for 2 weeks, as in her monthly separation, and she remains in the blood of her cleansing for 66 days. And when the days of her cleansing are completed, for a son or for a daughter, she brings to the Kohen a lamb a year old as a burnt offering, and a young pigeon or a turtle dove as a sin offering to the door of the tent of appointment. And he shall bring it before Yah and make atonement for her, and she shall be cleansed from the flow of her blood. This is the Torah for her who has given birth to a male or a female. And if she is not able to bring a lamb, then she shall bring 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons, one as a burnt offering, the other as a sin offering. And the Kohen shall make atonement for her, and she shall be clean. Chapter 13. And Yah spoke to Moshe and to Aharon, saying, When a man has on the skin of his body a swelling, a scab, or a bright spot, and it shall become on the skin of his body like a leprous infection, then he shall be brought to Aharon the Kohen, or to one of his sons the Kohanim. And the Kohen shall look at the infection on the skin of the body, and if the hair on the infection has turned white, the infection appears to be deeper than the skin of his body, it is a leprous infection. And the Kohen shall look at him and pronounce him clean. Excuse me. Pronounce him unclean, But if the bright spot is white on his skin, on the skin of his body, and does not appear to be deeper than the skin, and its hair has not turned white, then the Kohanim shall shut up the infected one 7 days. And the Kohen shall look at him on the 7th day and see if the infection appears to be as it was, and the infection has not spread onto the skin. Then the Kohen shall shut him up another 7 days. And the Kohen shall look at him again on the 7th day and see if the infection has darkened. And if the infection has not spread on the skin, then the Kohen shall pronounce him clean. It is a scab, and he shall wash his garments and be clean. But if the scab spreads further over the skin, like he has been seen by the Kohen for his cleansing, he shall be seen by the Kohen again. And the Kohen shall look and see if the scab has spread on the skin. Then the Kohen shall pronounce him unclean. It is leprosy. When the infection of leprosy is on a man, then he shall be brought to the Kohen, and the Kohen shall look and see if the swelling on the skin is white, and it has turned the hair white, and there is a spot of raw flesh in the swelling. It is an old leprosy on the skin of his body, and the Kohen shall pronounce him unclean. He does not shut him up, for he is unclean. And if leprosy breaks out over the skin, and the leprosy shall cover all the skin of the infected one, from his head to his feet, wherever the Kohen looks, then the Kohen shall look and see if the leprosy has covered all the body, and he shall pronounce the infected one clean. It has all turned white, he is clean. But the day raw flesh appears on him, he is unclean. But the day, okay. And the Kohen shall look at the raw flesh and pronounce him to be unclean. The raw flesh is unclean, it is leprosy. And when the raw flesh changes and turns white again, he shall come to the Kohen. And the Kohen shall look at him and see if the infection has turned white. Then the Kohen shall produce the infected one. One clean, he is clean. Okay, and when the body has a boil in the skin and it is healed, and in the place of the boil there comes a white swelling or a bright spot, reddish white, then it shall be seen by the Kohen. And the Kohen shall look and see, and if it appears deeper than the skin, and if its hair has turned white, the Kohen shall pronounce him unclean. It is a leprous infection which has broken out of the boil. But if the Kohen looks at it and sees no white hairs in it, and it is not deeper than the skin, but has faded, then the Kohen shall shut him up 7 days. And if it has spread further over the skin, then the Kohen shall pronounce him unclean. It is a leprous infection. But if the bright spot stays in its place and it has not spread, it is the scar of the boil, and the Kohen shall pronounce him clean. Or when the body receives a burn on its skin by fire, and the raw flesh of the burn shall become a bright spot, reddish white or white, then the Kohen shall look at it and see if the hair of the bright spot has turned white, and it appears deeper than the skin. It is leprosy, broken out in the burn. And the Kohen shall pronounce him unclean. It is a leprous infection. But if the Kohen looks at it and sees there are no white hairs in the bright spot, and it is not deeper than the skin, but has faded, then the Kohen shall shut him up 7 days. And the Kohen shall look at him on the 7th day. If it spreads further over the skin, then the Kohen shall pronounce him unclean. It is a leprous infection. But if the bright spot stays in its place and has not spread on the skin, but has faded, it is a swelling from the burn. And the Kohen shall pronounce him clean, for it is a scar from the burn. And when a man or a woman has an infection on the head or in the beard, then the Kohen shall look at the infection and see if it appears deeper than the skin, and there is thin yellow hair in it, then the Kohen shall pronounce him unclean. It is an eruption, a leprosy of the head or beard. But when the Kohen looks at the infection of the eruption and sees that it does not appear deeper than the skin, and there is no black hair in it, then the Kohen shall shut up the infection of the eruption 7 days. And on the 7th day the Kohen shall look at the infection and see if the eruption has not stopped, and there is no yellow hair in it, and the eruption does not appear deeper than the skin, then he shall shave himself, but the eruption he does not shave, and the Kohen shall shut up the eruption another 7 days. And on the 7th day the Kohen shall look at the eruption and see if the eruption has not spread over the skin and does not appear deeper than the skin, then the Kohen shall pronounce him glad. And he shall wash his garments, and he shall be clean. But if the eruption spreads further over the skin after his cleansing, then the Kohen shall look at him and see if the eruption has spread over the skin. The Kohen needs to seek for yellow hair. He is unclean. But if the eruption appears to have stayed, and there is back hair grown up in it, the eruption has healed. He is clean. And the Kohen shall pronounce him clean. And when a man or a woman has bright spots on the skin of the body, white bright spots. Then the Kohanim shall look and see if the bright spots on the skin of the body are dull white. It is a white spot that grows on the skin. He is clean. And when a man loses the hair of his head, he is bald, he is clean. And if the hair has fallen from his forehead, he is bald on the forehead, he is clean. And when there is on the bald head or bald forehead a reddish white infection, it is leprosy breaking out on his bald head or his bald forehead. And the Kohen shall look at it and see if the swelling of the infection is reddish white or his bald head or on his bald forehead as the appearance of leprosy on the skin of the body. He is a leprous man. He is unclean. The Kohen shall pronounce him unclean without fail. His infection is on his hand. As for the leper who has the infection, his garments are torn and his head is uncovered, and he has to cover his upper lip and cry, unclean, unclean. He is unclean all the days of his life. He is unclean all the days he has the infection. He is unclean. He is unclean, and he dwells alone. His dwelling place is outside the camp. And when a garment has an infection and leprosy is on it, in a woolen garment, or in a linen garment, or in the wart, or in the weft of linen and wool, okay, and in leather or in any leather work, and the infection shall be greenish or reddish in the garment, or in the lather, or in the work of the vine, or in any leather object, or it is an infection of leprosy, and shall be shown to the Kohen. And the Kohen shall look at the infection and shut up the infection 7 days, and he shall look at the infection on the 7th day. And when the infection has spread in the garment, or in the weft, or in the leather, or any leather work, the infection is active leprosy, it is unclean, and he shall burn that garment or wart of the weft, and wool, and in linen, or any leather object, in which the infection is, for it is an act of leprosy, it is burned with fire. But if the Kohen looks at and sees that the infection has not spread to the garment, or in any wart, or in the waist, or in any leather object, then are the Kohen shall give command, and they shall wash that in which the infection lives, and he shall shut it up another 7 days, and the Kohen shall look at the infection on it has been washed, and see if the infection has not changed. It's changed through the infection has not spread. It is unclean, and burn it in the fire. It is eaten away in the fire, in its inside or outside. And if the Kohen shall look, and see that the offering has faded after marriage, then he shall tear it out of his garment, or out of the wart, or out of the weft, or out of the leather, and it is still seen in the garment, and if it is still seen in the garment, or in the wart, or in the weft, in any leather object, it is a spreading infection. But if with fire, that in which that our infections is, and if you wash the garment or the work or the weft or any leather object, if the infection has disappeared from it, then it shall be washed a second time and shall be clean. This is the Torah of the infection of leprosy in the garment of wool and linen, or in any leather object, to pronounce it clean or pronounce it unclean. We're entering chapter 14. Chapter 14. Okay, and Yah spoke to Moshe, saying, This shall be the Torah of the leper for the day of his cleansing. He shall be brought to the Kohen, and the Kohen shall go out of the camp, and the Kohen shall look and see if the leprosy is healed in the leper. And the Kohen shall command that he shall take for him who is to be cleansed 2 live and clean birds, and cedar wood, and scarlet, and hyssop. And the Kohen shall command that he shall kill one of the birds in the earthen vessel over running water. Let him take the live bird, and the cedar wood, and the scarlet, and the hyssop, and the dip from the bird that was killed over the running water. And he shall sprinkle it 7 times on him who is to be cleansed from the leprosy, and shall pronounce him clean, and shall let the live bird loose in the open field, and he who is to be cleansed shall wash his garments, and shall shave off all his hair, and wash himself in water, and shall be clean. Then after that he comes into the camp, but shall stay outside his tent 7 days. And on the 7th day, it shall be that he shaves all the hair off his head, and his beard, and his eyebrows, and all his hair he shaves off. And he shall wash his garments, and wash his body in water, and shall be clean. And on the 8th day he takes 2 male lambs, perfect ones, and 1 ewe lamb, ewe lamb, a year old, a perfect one, and the 3/10 parts of fine flour mixed with oil as a grain offering, and 1 log of oil. And the Kohen who is cleansing shall present the man who is to be cleansed with these before Yah at the door of the tent of appointment. And the Kohen shall take 1 male lamb, and bring it to the guilt offering and the log of oil, and wave them as a wave offering before Yah. And he shall slaughter the lamb, and the place where he slaughters the sin offering, and the burnt offering, and the Kodesh place for the guilt offering, like the sin offering belongs to the Kohen. It is most Kodesh. And the Kohen shall take some of the blood of the guilt offering, and the Kohen shall put it on the tip of the right ear of him who is to be disclosed, and on the thumb of his right hand, and on the big toe of his right hand. And the Kohen shall take some of the log of oil, and pour it into the palm of his hand, of his own left hand. And the Kohen shall dip his right finger in the oil shade that is in his left, and shall sprinkle some of the oil with his finger 7 times before Yah, and the rest of the oil and the hunt in the Kohen parts, some on the tip of the the right ear of him who is cleansed, and on the thumb of his right hand, and on the big toe of his right foot, and the blood of the guilt offering. Okay. Okay. And the Kohen shall offer the burnt offering and the grain offering on the altar, and the Kohen shall make atonement for him, and he shall be clean. But if he is poor and is unable to afford it, then he shall take one male lamb and a guilt offering to be waved to make atonement for him, and 1/10 part of fine flour mixed with oil as a grain offering, and a log of oil, and 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons, such as he is able to afford, and one shall be a sin offering and the other a burnt offering, and he shall bring them to the Kohen on the 8th day for his cleansing to the door of the tent of appointment before Yah, as the Kohen shall take the lamb of the guilt offering and the log of oil, and the Kohen shall wave them as a wave offering before Yah, and he shall slaughter the lamb of the guilt offering, and the Kohen shall take some of the blood of the guilt offering and put it on the tip of the right ear of him who has been cleansed, and on the thumb of his right hand, and on the big toe of his right foot. When the portion, then the Kohen pours some of the oil into the palm of his own left hand, and the Kohen shall sprinkle with his right finger some of the oil that is in his left hand 7 times before Yah. And the Kohen shall put some of the oil that is in his hand on the tip of the right ear of him who is to be cleansed, and on the thumb of the right hand, and on the big toe of the right foot, and on the place of the blood of the guilt offering. And the rest of the oil that is in the Kohen's hand he puts on the head of him who is to be cleansed, to make atonement for him before Yah. And he shall prepare one of the turtle doves or young pigeons, such as he is able to afford, that which he is able to afford, the one as a sin offering and the other as a burnt offering, with the grain offering. And the Kohen shall make atonement for him who is to be cleansed before I am. This is the Torah for the one who has an infection of leprosy, who is unable to afford his cleansing. And Yah spoke to Moshe and to Aaron, saying, when the room has the least, okay, oh my goodness, when you come into the land of Canaan, which I am giving you as a possession, and I put a plague of leprosy in the house in the land of your possession, then shall the one who owns the house come and inform the Kohen, saying, seems to me there is some plague in the house. And the Kohen shall command, and they shall empty the house before the Kohen goes into shape at the plague, so that all that is in the house is not made unclean. And after that the Kohen goes in to look at the house, and he shall look at the plague and see if the plague is on the walls of the house with sunken places, greenish or reddish, which appear to be deep in the walls. When the Kohen shall give out the house to the door of the house, and shut up the house 7 days, and the Kohen shall come again on the seventh day and look and see if the plague has spread on the walls of the house. Then the Kohen shall come in, and they shall remove the stones which with the plague in them, and they shall throw them outside the house into the unclean place, while he lets the house be scraped inside all around, and the dust that they came off they place water by this outside the city. I'm sorry, chapter 41, verse 41 of verse 41 of chapter 14. When he lets the house be scraped inside all around, and the dust that they scrap of they shall pour out in an unclean place outside the city, and they shall take other stones and put them in the place of these stones, and take other mortar and plaster the house. And if the plague comes back and breaks out in the house, after he has removed the stones, after he has scraped the house, and after it is plastered, then the Kohen shall come and look and see if the plague has spread in the house. It is an active leprosy in the house, it is unclean, and he shall break down the house, its stones and its timber, and all the plaster of the house, and he shall bring them outside the city to the unclean place. And he who gives into the house all the days while it is shut up becomes unclean until evening. And he who lies down in the house has to wash his garments, and he who eats in the house has to wash his garments. However, if the Kohen indeed comes in and looks at it and sees that the plague has not spread in the house after the house was replastered, then the Kohen shall pronounce the house clean, because the plague is healed. And to cleanse the house, he shall take 2 birds, and cedar wood, and scarlet, and hyssop, and he shall kill one of the birds in the earthen vessel over running water. And he shall take the cedar wood, and the hyssop, and the scarlet, and the live bird, and dip them in the blood of the slain bird, and in the running water, and shall sprinkle the house 7 times. And he shall thus cleanse the house, which the blood of the bird, and the running water, and the live bird, and with the cedar wood, and with the hyssop, and with the scarlet. And he shall let the live bird loose outside the city in the open field, and shall make atonement for the house, and it shall be clean. This is my Torah for an infection of leprosy and an eruption, and for leprosy of a garment and of a house, and for the swelling, and for a scab, and for a bright place, to teach women it is unclean, and when it is clean. This is the Torah of leprosy. Okay. Let's see. Okay, we're entering chapter 15. I'm not sure how far we're going to make it though. And Yah spoke to Moshe and to Aaron, saying, "Let us speak to the children of Yashua and say to them." Okay. I'm going to stop there, and we will pick this up tomorrow at chapter 15 of Wayakra or Leviticus in the HalleluYah Scriptures. Thank you for joining me. My apologies for ending early, but I'm having a bit of a hard time. So we will pick back up tomorrow. I will see you then. Be blessed.